As my eyes slowly open, I can't help but feel nervous about how the day will go. Here we go! I can only imagine how nervous Sayori is. It's such a big step for her too. I just hope it goes well. Hey Sayori, ready to get going? Yeah, she's a little quiet. And not quite as chipper as she usually is. The journey to the clinic is a quiet one. Thankfully, it's only a short walk away. Well, that was interesting. Her therapist was incredibly patient and empathetic, never once being insensitive with his questioning. I wish we could see it. Sad. We spent the majority of the session getting a picture of her current life situation, to which Sayori was generally compliant. I think that after she told him about her depression, it might have been a bit easier to talk about it, given that I was the first person she confessed to. She didn't look entirely comfortable, but after a few reassuring smiles from me, she was able to answer his questions. The session passed by relatively quickly, and before we knew it, it was already over. Sayori is quiet as she breaks the silence. I've heard a few horror stories about people who really get insensitive therapists, and I was really scared that he'd be one of them, but he was really patient, so that could have gone a lot worse. I mean, for a therapist, I guess patience is a very important thing to have. He trails off into silence. I'm really proud of you, Sayori. I know that must have been really hard for you to do, but with how confusing all of this can be, it really does make me happy that you're doing this. I'm glad to hear that, Midas. I really am. By the way, can we spend the rest of the day together? I don't want to go home just yet. Of course we can. Cuddling up on the couch it is. After swinging by the shops to get a few snacks, we find ourselves back in our typical cuddling spot. It's rather quiet between us, a given. I suppose after the therapy session, there's a lot to take in for the both of us. Tagging along to the session raised so many questions in my mind though. Now isn't the best time to ask them though. Hey Sayori, yeah? Why don't we play something? We don't have enough people for a board game though. Nah, I don't mean board games. Remember when we used to play video games together when we were kids? I've always found video games was a good way to escape reality. Last year when I was really lonely, I found it helped to take my mind off things. Plus there's some games I have that I think you might enjoy. She sits up. Sure, that could be fun. What games are you thinking of? As it turns out I still have those games you used to play. Do you remember Banjo-Kazooie? Oh, the one with the bear? Yep, that's the one. Let's give it a whirl. As I was hoping, gaming has proven to be a wonderful way to get her mind off therapy. She's truly lost in the colorful immersive world with her face scrunched up in determination. At first she wasn't good at the game, struggling with the controls, getting lost and genuinely being unsure what she's meant to do. Although after a few pointers from me, she really started to pick up on it and was soon getting the hang of it. Sayori can be really good at things when she puts her mind to it. It's almost uncanny how skilled she can be, especially as it contrasts against the airheaded vibe she can give off. I knew how I'd find the jigsaw puzzles there. Or jigsaw piece rather. What the? Why? Why is the sad music now? I laugh. She's having a great time. And it's heartwarming to see her so happy. Even if it's over just a video game, nothing will ever beat seeing Sayori smiling. You'll never know just how cute you are, Sayori. Huh? Just seeing you happy makes me so happy. And I swear that nothing will ever change that. No, not that I'm complaining or anything, but where did all of this come from? Truth be told, I'm not really sure. Being with her in the therapy room just now was quite eye-opening for me. Not just because I got to see how therapy works, but because it's really dawning on me that the fact that she has depression and this is something you can't deal with alone. Of course I believe her when she said that she was depressed back in November, but meeting the therapist and watching him do his job really drove the point home. I'm obviously really glad that she's seeking help, but it made me think. She's been depressed for a long time, and I've only recently came back into her life. So what was life like for her while we weren't friends? Probably awful and super lonely. Midas? Are you there? You're looking kinda sad. What's up? Bright smile does nothing for my guilt. I'm sorry, Sayori. What are you sorry for, silly? We've only properly begun to hang out not long time ago, right? Since September? Yeah? She pauses the game and sets the controller down, sensing the urgency in the situation. And you've been depressed for so many years. But I wasn't there for you. You drifted apart all because of what? Because I was an idiot. An idiot who prioritized gaming and anime over you. Can't even imagine how hard things were for you when we weren't really talking. Midas, none of that is your fault. She gently takes my hands in hers. And part of me thinks that, well, had I made more of an effort with you back then, perhaps us drifting apart didn't cause me to be depressed by us. Truthfully, I don't really know why I developed depression. There's a lot I don't know about my condition, but one thing I know is that it doesn't really need a reason. That's what my doctor said the last time I tried therapy. So please, I never think that you somehow contributed to my depression, okay? You're like the polar opposite. When I'm with you, I'm happy. You make me feel like I'm actually worth something. Even though my brain tries really hard to tell me that you're lying. Yeah, but that's in the present. What about in the past? And there were years where we didn't hang out at all. I actually had this conversation with Monica once. It's normal for friendships to be like that, I think. You can go a long time without talking to someone, but if you reconnect with them and you can both get along as if nothing ever happened, did anything really change? I pause upon hearing her words. I guess she does have a point, but I'm finding it hard to internalize. She reaches forward and strokes my face, gently lifting my chin up so we maintain eye contact. The way I see it, we get along just as well as when we did as kids. But besides, what happened in the past was in the past. If anything, the time apart made you appreciate the time I do spend with you even more. Well, I'm glad you feel that way, Sayori. I really am. Just that, well, going to therapy today made me realize that the reality of depression. And it made me reflect on how much I've been absent in your life. I didn't mean to spring this on you out of the blue like that. Especially when you wanted to take your mind off therapy. It was pretty inconsiderate of me. It's okay, it really is. I'm just glad that we can talk these things out, you know? You've been really patient with me, so it's the least I can do for you. And I'd much rather you talked about whatever bothers you than you bottling up. After all bottles are meant to be shared, right? I can't help but laugh. That was clever. If you say so, I do. Seriously, Midas, please don't blame yourself for anything, okay? I've been much happier since you came back into my life. I wouldn't be able to go to therapy if you weren't with me, and like you said, I agree. It's a big step to take. There's a faraway look in her eyes as she ponders her next words. I've gone so many years thinking that this was something I'd have to bear alone, but I have to admit that it's nice not having to go through this by myself. She squeezes my hand. Besides, you can't really change the past now, can we? Yeah, I guess you're right. You really do have a big heart, you know that? Nothing ever changed with you, and that's never going to change. It's moments like these that really bring a warm, fuzzy feeling inside of me. I've never felt anything like this before, but it feels so right. Now, I think we have some jigsaws to collect. Of course. Let's get back to the game, shall we? She reaches for the controller and starts playing once more. Within seconds, we're whisked away in the world of childhood memories. The feel of her warmth in my arms, the sound of her innocent laughter, and the smell of her hair. That little voice of guilt remains. But it's easier now to ignore it. Wow, it's super late already! And tomorrow's a school day as well. No fun. Tell me about it. Monday mornings are absolutely the worst. Not even soccer I can save them. I just want another break. We just had our Christmas one! I know. Oh well. Anyway, I should get going. Leaving so soon. I intend that pulling puppy dog eyes causes her to laugh and shake her head. But it's late! I reach toward her and pull her into an embrace. In a playful attempt to stop her from leaving, I push her down onto the sofa, wrapping my arms tightly around her body. You've fallen into my grand trap. Now there's no escape. You got me! Whatever can I do? Nothing. My master plan is absolutely foolproof. Is it Sayori proof? What do you... Her lips meets mine, and I immediately taken away with into another world. Man, it's almost scary how powerful the sensation is whenever we kiss. No fair. Are you complaining? If you'd prefer, I could just... Her tone is innocent and playful. Not kiss you again. Hey, I didn't say that. Okay. You win. But there's one thing you didn't prepare for. And what could that be? I quickly boop her in the nose. Boop! Wow! Surprise sneaky boops aren't allowed. Ooh, but surprise sneaky kisses are? You had me trapped. It was just self-defense. Wow. It was just self-defense. So was my boob. This isn't over, Meanie. Looking forward to a rematch then. I reach over and check my phone. It's almost midnight. Yeah, let her sleep. As much as I hate to admit it, you should probably call it a day. Although having said that, an idea just popped into my mind. Okay, Sayori. How about... This is very tricky. It's Act 3 and there's choices. I thought this would be set in stone. I can't... Yeah, I guess stay with me. I guess. Why don't you stay the night? Eh? Here? That way we can also make breakfast tomorrow morning before school. Ooh, I didn't think of that. Where would we sleep though? Well, I was thinking I could take the sofa and you could have my bed. No, there's no way I'm letting that happen. You can sleep with me. There's an awkward silence for a moment made slightly comical by the fact Sayori hasn't realized the implications of her words. Oh, sorry. I didn't mean it like that. You know what I meant. Anyway, I'm just gonna get my stuff from my place, so I'll be back in a second. Alright. After completing my bedtime preparations, I really slide into my bed, thinking about the conversation that took place today. There's been a lot to take in, I suppose. Ever since Sayori became my girlfriend, there's always been a nagging fear that I'm getting into something that's way beyond me. Going to therapy has helped dispel that worry though, and it was relatively smooth. And I'm hoping that doesn't change. Faintly I hear the click of the front door followed by footsteps. I'm just gonna get changed, then I'll join you. As Sayori approaches the bed, I can't help but notice how nice her legs look in those shorts. Won't you be cold in those pajamas? If you can even call that pajamas. Nope. I have you to warm me up, remember? I'm suddenly very grateful that I have the blanket covering my body. She slides next to me, pulling the blanket over herself. Slowly she inches over to me and positions herself so that the top of her head lies just below my chin. Resting her head on my chest, she looks up at me, moves in for a kiss and giggles. At such proximity, I can hear her heartbeat. Her hands feel so soft and warm against the fabric of my shirt. She's incredibly warm, but it isn't overbearing in the slightest. On instinct, I wrap my arm around her body and feel my face atop her hair. Good night, Sayori. I plant a kiss on her forehead. Good night, Midas. Huh? What? Okay. And suddenly I'm pulled out of my sleep by what appears to be sobbing. As I slowly fight the grogginess, I'm also aware of a slight dampness on my chest. I hate it when Sayori has a nightmare. The feeling of powerlessness, the sound of her tears, the anguish look on her face. It always hits hard. No, why can't you hear me? Oh god, Sayori. I need you. Come back, please come back. Sayori? I gently shake her. Shh, Sayori, it's okay, I'm here. It's okay. I hold her as she carries on, whimpering. She clings to me even harder, shaking with fear. You can only imagine what's going on inside her head. I fumble for my phone. The blinding glare tells me that it's 7:01. Midas? It's me, Sayori. Just having a nightmare, don't worry. I've got you. I stroke her softly as her crying subsides. That was horrible. What happened? She takes deep breaths and composes herself. Everything was so dark. You, Yuri, Natsuki, and Monica. You were all there. But whenever I tried to talk to you, it was like there was an invisible bubble around me. None of you could even hear me. There was a shadowy figure that kept talking to me. Fresh tears filled her eyes once more. Kept saying horrible things. You told me I was useless. Yeah, yes, it's hard. And that everyone would be so much better off when I wasn't around. That you'd be much happier with Yuri, and that therapy was pointless and I was just fighting a losing battle. Something more than false hope, no matter how hard I tried to believe otherwise. She sniffles. I tried calling out to you, to the girls, to anyone. But it was just me and the voice tormenting me, telling me everything I've been trying so hard so not to believe. It felt surreal, Miles, surreal. Just when I thought things might have a chance of being okay again. Night, why can't I just be normal? It's already 7 though. Sorry, Midas, I just can't go to school today. It's okay, I won't go either. Okay? What about... I couldn't care less about that. There's no way in hell I'm going to leave you alone after what you've just experienced. I can miss the odd day off school, it's fine. She opens her mouth to protest, but upon seeing the steely resolution on my face, she reluctantly abates. I'll get you some water, be back in a second. I don't know why I'm like this, Midas. Why is it that something as stupid as a little nightmare makes me feel this bad? I was hoping that finally there was a light at the end of the tunnel. But that was just naive of me now, was it? It's okay, you don't have to say anything, Midas. I know you might feel like you have to say some magical words to make me feel better, but all you have to do is listen. What really hurt me was that voice telling me that you'd be much better off with you as your girlfriend. I'm trying really hard to believe that I'm a good girlfriend and that I'm worth your time, but those thoughts are always there in the back of my mind. I know you'd never break my trust, but I just wish I could convince my stupid brain to see the same way. And it's so unfair, because I can see how hard you're trying. Please believe me when I say I really appreciate you, Midas. And I'm just so scared that it might be all for nothing. What do you mean? Well, what if I never get better? What if I'm always gonna be like this? My pieces are all broken. You're trying so hard to put them back together, but what if you couldn't? I can't, sorry. What if you can't put them back together because some of them are gone? I don't have an answer for that. I hate feeling like this. Feeling like I've lost something. Something I'll never get back. No matter how good your support or how well therapy goes. I can't remember the last time I wasn't so tired, Midas. It's the worst part about it. The exhaustion that never goes away. An exhaustion that sleep can never fix. The only good thing about sleep is that it's an escape from my mind, at least for a few hours. Well, and I don't have nightmares. And I'm just so tired of it all. Tears slowly start leaking down her face once more. Her face looks utterly resigned. I wish I could just wake up one day and actually have hope. She faces me with a sad smile. Her cheeks glisten with tears. Actual, genuine hope. A hope that maybe, just maybe, things will be okay. Just when I begin to think that that could be true, Days like these happen. I hate these days. I hate these days so much. Therapy is already hard enough, and these nightmares make me feel like what little progress I've made has been reset. All of the thoughts that I've tried so hard to keep in check break free, and they're merciless. I wipe away a few of her tears and gently grasp her hands in mine. We will get through this together, Sayori. Just like I said, I don't care how long it takes or what we have to endure. That's a promise. I'm never going to stop until we see this through. She looks away. Why is it that I never feel like I'm actually getting through her? I have to try to stay positive for both of our sakes. Even though seeing her like this is one of the most demoralizing things on the planet. No matter what, you'll never be alone in dealing with this. And if your pieces are broken, we'll create new ones. I can now imagine how hard it is for you. Really, Midas? How can you possibly know what it's like to feel like how I'm feeling? Exactly. You don't know what it feels like. The constant numbness, the feeling that no matter what I do, the shadow will always be here. Crying myself to sleep, waking up in tears, having to fake everything because you're terrified that people will see the real you. But I've seen the real you, and you're still here, and you're trying to help. I get it, I really do. I know you're trying to help, but it's hard to see your encouragement as anything more than empty words. This isn't something you can fix by saying the right stuff. She bursts into tears once more. As much as I wish it was. I scoop her into a hug. She tries to push me away initially, but I hold her firm, holding her closer to my chest. She eventually gives in and sobs unrestrainedly into my chest. I'm scared, Midas. I whisper softly in her ear as I gently stroke the back of her head. I know, Sayori. I'm scared as well. We both fall silent with only the tears permeating in the room being the sound of her anguished tears. Sayori? She mumbles into my chest. I'm sorry if I say the wrong things. I just don't know what the right things to say and do are. This whole thing is totally alien to me. And after you told me that my words are pretty much empty, I'm starting to doubt everything. She winces slightly as she bites her lip. Sorry, I shouldn't have said that. It came out much harsher than I intended. I want to believe what you say, I really do. I know that I shouldn't feel jealous and that I shouldn't compare myself to the other girls. I want to believe all of the lovely, reassuring things you say to me. But I can't. I know what you're saying makes sense. It's just internalizing that it's a whole other story. It's not your problem, it's all on me. Being unable to get over this stupid thing. Depression isn't a stupid thing though, I know it's much more than that, Midas. I just can't help but how angry it makes me. I just want to be normal like anyone else. It's like I'm not controlling my own body. Depression is the one that chooses my mood for the day. It chooses how I react to things and what I say. Like the day you made me breakfast. I really wish that I was appreciated from the start instead of being irritated that you were in my room so early. It's so unfair. And I'm keeping going on and on about it, and don't ever apologize for venting about your depression, Sayori. I know that my words probably don't sound as reassuring and helpful as I want them to be, but one thing that'll never change will be my willingness to listen. You've been battling this alone for so long, so it's only fair that I can be a shoulder to cry on. Problem shared is problem halved, right? It's obviously not that simple in this case, but it's something. She sniffles and nods slowly. It does help to at least be able to talk about it. That's something then. Having you around as much as I don't think I deserve your support, it does make a difference. That makes me happy then. Really? Yeah. It might not be a huge help, but it's still some help, surely. She pauses to reflect. Yeah, I guess so. She nods and shifts herself so that her head lies on my lap. Once she settles, I start absent-mindedly stroking her hair. My mom told me that there would be days like these. Oh, well, back in November after our fight, I was a bit lost. I didn't know who to turn to, so I asked Mom for advice. What did you say? She said that if you date someone with depression, you'll have a good days. You'll like the ones we've had before. And bad days like today. Yes? Sayori falls silent once more. She looks a little reflective and thankfully doesn't seem to mind that I told Mom about their condition. Does she have depression herself? I'm guessing. Nope. She dated someone who had it in the past. It's kinda spooky how accurate her advice was. What was it? She told me about how important it is to be patient and understanding for the start. Which you have been. I don't know. I still have no idea what I'm doing and I don't really know if I'm saying or doing the right things. I thought I was. But after you told me that my words are just empty, I started to doubt everything. Oh God. A lot of regret flashes across her face. Sorry, I didn't mean that. For what it's worth, you've been a great boyfriend, Midas. It's just not fair on you. Your heart has always been in the right place and you put up with my moods. Well, that's reassuring to hear at least. And all I can do is all I can do in return is snap at you for the smallest of things. I knew it wasn't going to be easy. Mom did warn me. And being honest with you, it's times like these that make me realize just how serious the condition is. But I'm glad I got the wake-up call sooner rather than later. Neither of us really know what we're doing, but at least we have each other, right? It's also our first relationship, so we've been fighting an uphill battle from the start. I've definitely enjoyed my time with you so far, and you think I'm a good boyfriend, so we could be doing a lot worse. I don't know. Could we? I feel like our relationship has just been you putting up with me. Do we have a future together? Her words cut deep, knowing that she still has these doubts, especially this early on. What do you think? Honest question. I don't know. Do you want us to have a future together? Yes. So do I. But what about when we start your last year in school? Or when we leave school? Or what if you go to university tonight? Or what if... Sayori, listen to me. Let's just take our relationship one day at a time, okay? You could probably drive yourself crazy by trying to predict the future. Do I know if we'll be together in a year? Truthfully, I don't. I have no clue what life will be like after school. But there's no point worrying about it now because it doesn't get you anywhere. Yeah, you're right. She gives me a short, humorless laugh. I'm glad that one of us can think rationally. Nah. Remember how I thought we'd let a spirit loose in the classroom back in October? That was the polar opposite of irrational. I really enjoyed that day. It was nice to dress up in silly costumes and scare each other. A real throwback to our childhood. Definitely a highlight of the year along with Christmas. There's something really satisfying about seeing someone light up when they unwrap a present you've got them. I have the photo you gave me in my room, by the way. It always makes me smile whenever I see it. Even when you're not physically around, you still make me happy. Please don't forget that. Thank you, Midas. I'll do my best. It's been about 2 weeks since that nightmare caused Sayori to have a breakdown. At this point in our relationship, I started to see what Mom warned me about. I didn't realize how bad the bad days would be. We've had a few therapy sessions since, as I was hoping the sessions went smoothly. Well, as smoothly as they could go, I guess. Along with her doctor prescribing her antidepressants, the therapist has given Sayori a diary, which she's meant to use by recording her happy and sad thoughts. By recording her sad thoughts, he's working with her to see whether these thoughts are supported by facts, basically trying to challenge her depressive thinking. That's nice. I'm no expert, but it looks to me that that's the kind of therapy she needs. It's not been as simple as it might seem, but to me it looks like steady but sure progress is being made. To say the least, it's a huge relief. Relief is an understatement, thank God. She's also tentatively mentioned that she'd like to start going to sessions alone. Although she isn't quite at that stage yet, well, at least she's trying to be independent, and I guess that's part of progress. She said that she'd see how she feels and that the time the next one comes about. Still, it's been really interesting to see what therapy really entails. Definitely an eye-opening experience. On the other hand, I think the club member girls are starting to get a little more suspicious. About what? There have been a few days where Sayori's depressive moods became a little more apparent in school, as they were concerned for her. Still, Sayori maintained her walls. I felt bad about how in the dark the other girls were, but it isn't my position to say what's going on. Hopefully, Sayori will be comfortable telling them in her own time. Hopefully. Also, given that it's February, I've had to pay more attention to school matters, namely the end of the semester next month. Sakurai has been talking to students about their future plans. It's scary to think that next year is my final school year. He wants to see me after the lesson ends. So for what feels like the first time in forever, I start to think about what I want to do after I leave school. As the bell rings, he calls me over. Well, at least he's not mad, or at least it's not because we're dozing off. You have the same look that I had on my face when my homeroom teacher wanted to talk to me about my post-school plans. I appreciate his use of humor in the situation. He's always been efficient at helping me feel at ease, especially in situations where I feel out of my depth. If you don't know what to do, I wouldn't worry about it too much. After all, you're just a second year, so you have another year to figure it out. Having said that, do you have any idea at all? To be honest with you, sir, I haven't really given it much thought at all. The past 5 months have been they've really given me much time to think about it. Or they haven't really given me much time to think about it. Well, let's try this from another angle. Does higher education interest you at all? Going to university? Or would you perhaps be more inclined towards finding a job as soon as you leave school? I paused for a moment to think, trying to recollect what my parents used to tell me when we had this kind of conversation. University sounds good, although I'm not sure what I'd study. He nods approvingly. You'll definitely find it easier to land a job if you have a degree under your belt. That's good to know then. All I have to do is pick a subject, I guess. I know it can be a little daunting, especially when you aren't sure. My advice would be to go with a subject you enjoy and do well in. Far from me being biased, but you are rather a talented historian. I chuckle. What can you do with a history degree though? The skills you get from a history degree can transfer to a lot of other fields. A lot of historians that I knew went into journalism, academia, teaching, or even the law. Obviously, I'm not biased in any way, but history is the best subject to study. My science teachers say otherwise, sir. He grumbles to himself. Those haughty scientists. They could just pry themselves away from that Bunsen burners and glass vials for 5 minutes. Anyway, it's good that you've at least got a vague idea of what you want to do. There's no need to rush or anything. Just take some time to think about what you'd like to study at university. We can always have another discussion later. Will do, sir. Thank you. With the conversation over, I made my way to the club room for lunch. Hey guys? Natsuki gives me a curt nod while Sayori gives me one smile. The door opens once more, and Yuri walks in. Sayori's already weak smile wavers even further. He doesn't dislike her by any means, but it's clear that the jealousy is still an issue. I sigh inwardly. I have no clue how to solve that issue, given that I don't think Sayori is willing to disclose her depression with Yuri. As I pull out my food, I notice that Monica has barely greeted me. Her face is glued to her laptop with a terse look on her face. Everything alright, Monica? She finally drags her eyes off the screen and looks at me. It seems like she's only just realized that I'm talking to her. Yeah, I'm sorry I had to sort out some important emails. How are you? It's easy to spot from a mile off that her smile is forced. I decide not to push it. Not bad, not bad. Sakurai was just talking to me about what my plans were after school. I think it's common practice for all the teachers to ask their students, given we're all second years and the end of the semester isn't so far off. Ha! But that was fun. You don't have to bother with that stuff just yet. Lucky. I still don't really know what I want to do. I told them I wanted to go to university, but I can't really decide what I want to do. Starting to realize that I probably should have given this more thought. That's a little irresponsible, Midas. Your future holds so much weight, and time flies by so quickly. My face heats up a little from embarrassment. She's right, of course, but it seems like her judgment is coming out of nowhere. I look at Sayori, half expecting her to jump to my defense. Wow, we're expecting a girl to defend us? Well, she's depressed nonetheless. She doesn't though. Instead, she idly pokes at a spot at the table. The other girls look curiously at us. They can sense that something is up. I don't want to draw too much attention to Sayori, so I try to deflect their curiosity. How about you, Yuri? Any ideas? I decided that I want to study Japanese literature at university. Fitting choice. Yuri smiles to herself. I suppose it comes as a surprise to no one. I can imagine it would be both an exciting yet daunting experience. University? Yes. On one hand, there's an opportunity to meet many like-minded people, all with the same passion. Yet there's so much independence, especially if you opt for the university far from home. And with that independence comes a lot of responsibility, and I'd imagine a fair degree of uncertainty. Who knows what life will be like for all of us when we've left school? The question hangs in the air as the conversation lapses into silence. Monica mutters something under her breath. How about you, Monica? Given you've got a lot of choices, given how much you excel in pretty much every subject. She finally closes the laptop lid with a sigh. My parents have been hounding me with the exact same question for months now. I'll probably take over the business. There's a hint of what sounds like bitterness in her voice. Granted, I know very little about her life. Well, at least anything beyond the surface level. So that's a little baffling. We'll have to wait and see. An awkward silence descends upon the room. Clearly, it isn't just me who detected Monica's slightly hostile tone. Luckily, Yuri breaks the silence. Are you alright, Sayori? You've been rather quiet. Yeah, that's not like you at all. Even Monica glances over at Sayori's direction. Oh, I'm fine. Just kinda tired, that's all. I'm not saying typical, but... well... don't we all say that from time to time? I mean, personal experience, I guess. I do say that. Don't worry about me. The other girls don't look convinced in the slightest, but they didn't have much of a chance to press her as the lunch bell rings. I remember being in their position last semester, and boy do I not envy them. As the end of the school day rolls around, I find myself wandering down the corridor, waiting for Sayori to finish. Along the way, I bump into Monica. Hey, Midas. She keeps her voice low and quickly looks around before speaking. I can tell what she's going to ask me. Sayori okay? She'll be fine. Just dealing with some stuff, that's all. I'm guessing you know something, Monica. Compared to the last time she was acting off in school, you seem a lot less worried. That was when I knew less about her. She narrows her eyes at me. I guess what I've said must have come across as pretty cryptic. Okay? Well, let me know if we can help in any way, okay? We? Yeah, the club members. We're all friends after all. Don't you forget. Oh, of course. What a stupid question, Midas. It's appreciated. I'll see what Sayori thinks. Okay then. Well, I'll see you later. Well, I think Sayori is definitely more convincing than I am. She walks off, and after a couple of minutes, Sayori comes out of her class. Sorry I'm late. It's okay. Let's go. Do you know what was up with Monica? Funny you mention her because she asked me what was up with you. Oh, what did you tell her? Just that you're dealing with some stuff. Didn't give any specifics. They're worried about you though. Have you considered telling them? No, not really. They're our friends, Sayori. They know something is up. I know. I sense that this isn't a topic Sayori wants to discuss any further. Anyway, no, I don't know why Monica seemed so snappy at lunch. She mentioned her parents, so they're probably being a bit overbearing. I think a bit is an understatement. Must be difficult to maintain that model student image. When you're at the top, the only place you can go from there is down. Juggling academics with sports and other extracurriculars must be really stressful. I don't know if she does it, to be honest. I felt a little sorry for Natsuki though. Conversation kinda excluded her. I know for sure when I was a first year, post-school plans hadn't even crossed my mind. Yeah, I thought that too. Well, we'll make sure to include her next time. Good shout. After dumping our things inside, I pull out my phone. Isn't this mom music? I really should have talked to mom a while ago and I'm pretty sure she's gonna make me feel bad about it. Hey mom. Ah, Midas. Nice of you to remember you have a mother. Gad, ma. I winced slightly. I knew this was coming. I know. I really should have called you earlier. It's not that I didn't want to or anything. Anyway, Sayor's with me right now. You wanna say hello? I'd love to. I press a button on my phone which transforms the call into a video call. My goodness, Sayori! Is that really you? The last time I saw you were barely a teenager. Sayori laughed shyly. I guess I am putting her on the spot here a little. Hi, it's really nice to see you again. And you, dear. I hope Midas has been treating you well. I shoot Sayori a desperate look. This could be the perfect opportunity to enact some revenge for all the times I teased her. Of course, he's been really good to me. That's lovely to hear. Look at my little prince. He has surely matured. They sure will laugh as I turn slightly red from embarrassment. Mom, really? Little prince? I'm sorry, darling. I'm just so proud of you. Well, at least you've established what Sayori's gonna be calling me for the next few days. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. I'd love it. Sayori's gonna call us darling? Okay. I continue to giggle at my expense. He's always been like this, hasn't he? Quick to tease others, but once they do it to him, he gets all huffy. Sayori, do not take her side. You're my girlfriend! She's trying and failing to keep a straight face. Okay, no more teasing. Sorry, I just had to get you back for not calling me for so long. How did your December exams go? I briefly used to describe my results along with Sakurai's comments. Well, that's reassuring to hear. I was worrying that how you'd fare living by yourself, so I'm glad to hear that your academics are doing well. Sakurai has a point though. Your grades in math could be better, young man. Sayori, you're gonna have to knock him into shape. He's always been bad with discipline. I snort with derision. And you're asking Sayori of all people to help you with that? Nay! Mom sighs dramatically. Sorry, Sayori. He can be really mean sometimes, can't he? Must have gotten that from his father. There's an awkward silence. Things have been really rocky between mom and dad ever since the divorce. Yikes. This took a dive. Oh, by the way, I've got some good news. We've almost finished dealing with this particular client and I have no one else to deal with for a week. So I'm hoping to come and see you soon. My heart races. As much as I love being able to basically live with Sayori, seeing mom again after so long would be really nice. That's awesome, Mom! I'm really looking forward to it. Oh, I've been waiting to ask you. How, She's cut short by the sound of someone calling her. Sounds pretty urgent. No, I was hoping I have more time to talk to you. Sorry, darling. I'm going to have to go. We'll catch up properly. All three of us, when I come to visit you. Don't forget it's Valentine's Day coming up really soon. And I want to hear all about how you've been treating Sayori like a princess for it. She laughs softly and waves goodbye. I forgot how nice your mom is. Yeah, she's always been a good parent. She was a lifesaver back in November after our fight. You're such a mommy's boy. Nay, it's a good thing. It's really cute. I get the feeling you're mocking me. But because I know I can't win this battle, I reluctantly concede. And the ice queen wins again. You're a real clown, you know that. True, but I'm your clown. That's so... Oh, that's so adorable. I prefer the one from that horror movie we watched with Yuri. Such a charmer. The rest of the day passes by relatively quickly. After finishing our homework, we've spent the evening kicking back with some video games. This has been a routine for a while now. Sayori coming over, we finish our homework and then we relax. That's basically pretty nice, I guess. It's simple but effective. I'm glad that we're both happy just to sit back and relax and enjoy each other's company. And again, Sayori's never been a high-maintenance kind of girl. Watching her now with her sky blue eyes narrowed in concentration. God, I love her. Is now the right time to say it though? What if she doesn't feel the same way? That'd be a little awkward to say the least. Nah, that's not the time. Wait for Valentine's. I was curious, Sayori. What did you want to do after you finished school? You didn't say anything at lunch. I don't really know. She sighs. I thought that I'm going to therapy might be a good idea, but no. Get it? It's a stupid idea. It's not stupid at all. It is. I don't know if I'd even be good at it. I can't even help myself, so how can I help others? You're good at keeping the spirits high at the club at least. People appreciate having you around, and it's definitely more comfortable at the atmosphere when you're there. It's one thing to keep peace in a high school club, but helping people with really big problems as a therapist. You want to be a therapist? I mean, that's probably the best. Like, that's how I see Sayori in the future, at least. I mean, it fits her, I guess. It's nice. You know, the really horrible things that people have to live with, it's a whole other story. Have you mentioned it to your teacher at least? They might be able to point you into the right direction. She shrugs nonchalantly. I haven't. No. Truthfully, I haven't thought about the future much. But at least we're alike in that sense, although our reasoning for it is rather different. Got plenty of time though, right? Yeah, I guess we do. The conversation tails off into silence. I suppose thinking about the future is quite difficult for Sayori, so I make a mental note not to push it. Anyway, it's getting late. Let's call it a night. Can I be the big spoon tonight? Not sure how that'd work, but sure. Oh. Sakurai finishes explaining the morning's task and settles down to mark some papers. I find myself absent-mindedly fiddling with my pen. Pulling out my textbook, I flip to the relevant page. Suddenly, I'm aware of a poking sensation on my shoulder. What now, Emmy? Morning, Emmy. Surprised you weren't late today. I'm actually surprised I got the guess right. I thought it would be Sayori. Hey, it's not my fault practice ran on for so long today. I mean, isn't it? Don't you decide how many laps you run. Semantics, Midas. I chuckled to myself. If you say so. Anyway, you wouldn't happen to have any good Valentine's ideas with you? Mom brought it up yesterday. I didn't realize how quickly Valentine's has come around this year. My boyfriend only got out of the hospital a few days ago, so we're just taking things slow. Why? I mean, why was he in the hospital? I think he mentioned wanting to take me to a tea house though. Hospital? Is he alright? Yeah, just yeah. I hope he's alright. Yeah, just heart stuff. Anyway, what have you and Sayori got for— I just asked you if you have any ideas what could I do. That's what I was asking you for. Neither of us have really mentioned doing anything for it. I've never done anything for Valentine's before, so I'm totally out of my depth here. Emmy giggles. There's a playful mocking air to her laughter. She's your girlfriend, Midas. Shouldn't you know her the best? Yeah, but relationships, man. They're confusing. Just ask her. Sometimes it doesn't hurt to be direct. Well, unless she's expecting a surprise from you, that is. Then, well, you're on your own there. Ha! Some help you are. What happened to female intuition? We can't give you all the answers, Midas. Sometimes you've gotta work things out for yourself. Yeah, but because me trying to figure out what the best thing to say and do in our relationship is going so well. Life's unfair. After class ends, I make my way to the club room. As I open the door, I realize that it's just Natsuki inside? Okay. When was the last time I even spoke to her alone? Hey, afternoon. Listen, I need your help with something. Were you asked? Natsuki of all people? Okay. She looks at me suspiciously. With what? Well, you're a girl and... Thanks for Yeah, thanks for noticing. And, well, where would a girl want to be taken for Valentine's Day? And how long have you known Sayori for? Why doesn't this sound so familiar? Is it really a crime for me to ask for some Valentine's suggestions? A while, but in my defense, I've only known her for what, 2 months? I've only been with her for 2 months. I was thinking of like some kind of restaurant, but I don't know which ones are good or not. Okay, please help me, guys. The door opens and Monica and Yuri walk in. What were you two talking about? I glanced desperately at Natsuki, hoping she doesn't expose me in front of everyone. Oh, we're gonna hope on Natsuki that she doesn't like joke around about what we just asked. Midas was asking me Midas was asking where I should take his girlfriend for Valentine's Day. I called it. I groaned. Jeez, why to put it like that? I just needed some pointers, that's all. Yikes, she's here. We can't really ask her out now. The door opens a second time and Sayori wanders in. If it were down to me, I wouldn't even bother. Valentine's is just pointless, all that sappy stuff. Yuck! People hugging and kissing in public, giving each other sappy cards, no thanks. It's quite a romantic day though. People telling their partners how much they mean to them. Oh, the little gifts, the thoughtfulness. Natsuki, you're gonna be a lot less bitter when it's your turn. Yeah, it's great if you think it like that, but keep it away from me. Something else I don't want or I don't get is that Valentine's is supposed to be a day where you show your love for your partner. Blah blah blah. But aren't you meant to do that every day? Okay. I'm taken aback. Thought so. So it's safe to say that Cupid didn't shoot you any arrows this year then, huh? Nice. She glares at me as Sayori giggles. We all know you're a softy at heart, Natsuki. I am not. And that's why you're so cute. Ah! There's nothing wrong with admitting it. Just wait until you get a boyfriend. As we're digging into our food, Monica taps me on the shoulder. Okay, I think I might have the solution to your crisis. Oh, there's a really nice restaurant in town that I went to last year with a debate club. It's called the Amber Beehive, and their food is really good. It's a little on the formal side though, so you'd probably have to wear something smart. See if Sayori has a dress or something. Seems kinda sophisticated. Would they take a bunch of teenagers? Of course they would. Why wouldn't they? Well, the formal dress code and all. Wouldn't we all feel really out of place? I'm just, as you can see, I'm new to dating that and all that. It's okay, don't overthink it though. Just see it as a fancy date, that's all. I'm sure Sayori would like it as well. I think the music will really suit the atmosphere. Pretty jazzy. Thanks then. I'll look into it tonight. That's okay. Sayori will be impressed. And don't you worry. I won't tell her you got that idea from me. You're a real lifesaver, Monica. Don't you mention it. Oh, and I forgot to say, I'm sorry for snapping at you at lunchtime yesterday. Parents, that's okay. I imagine you had a lot on your plate. Besides, you've rescued my Valentine's, so you've redeemed yourself. That's good to hear. Oh, and by the way, you can never go wrong with the fried squid. Is this a callback to Natsuki's joke? Duly noted. Maybe I'll be able to salvage this Valentine's date after all. So, why is it all dark? What are our Valentine's plans? Sayori? Nah? Oh, sorry, I was spacing out. I don't know, to be honest. I haven't really given it much thought. Oh, I'm glad it isn't just me. I was worrying you've expected me to have something planned. With this being my first relationship and all, I'm hardly experienced within that department. She giggled softly at my sheepishness. Don't you worry about it, Midas. You just play it by ear tomorrow. Oh, it's tomorrow! Glad that we saved it at the last minute, I guess. Winging it, huh? Yeah, that sounds more like me. I mean, winging everything is okay, I guess, especially with your partner. Unplanned things are the best things. Except teenage pregnancy. I guess. No, not I guess. Teenage pregnancy is very bad if you don't plan it. Anyway, I've been really lagging behind with homework. I've got a lot to do. So don't you mind if we don't spend this evening together? Well, this is convenient. Now I can look up bookings for the restaurant without giving away the surprise. Yay! Oh sure, I was just about to say the same thing actually. I'll see you tomorrow then. Okay, see you later, Midas. She gives me a quick kiss and heads off inside. As I settle into my sofa, I quickly notice that the living room lights are on. There's some sound coming from the kitchen. It's Mom! Yay! There's also some sound coming from the kitchen. That's weird. There's no reason for anything to be making noise in the kitchen, and I always turn the lights off in the living room before I go to school. In an attempt to stop the sudden bout of panic, I force myself to rationalize the situation. Can't be a burglar, because they wouldn't make this much noise. So that must mean... Hello, anyone there? Familiar voice greets me back. Midas, is that you? Mom! Haha. Out of all the OCs, I mean, if you could even call this an OC, I mean, technically yes, we don't really have a mom in the original game. I like how our mom is portrayed. A huge grin forms on my face as I spot my mom emerging from the kitchen, a warm smile on her face. I rush forward and embrace her. It feels so good to have her back. I didn't know you were coming today. I wanted to keep it a surprise, my dear. We let go, and she looks me over. I'm so sorry that you've been alone for so long. I tried so hard to come back earlier, but Mrs. was having none of it. It's okay. I'm just glad that you're here now. I sniffed the air. Something smells delicious. Nothing can ever beat Mom's cooking. Are you making something? Yes, teriyaki, one of your favorites. You're the best, Ma. Seriously. Always nice to be reminded. It's almost ready. I'll give you a hand. She ruffles my hair. It's okay, sweetheart. My treat for you. There isn't much left to do anyway. Are you sure? Positive. It's only as I'm wolfing my food down do I realize how hungry I am. Mom's cooking has always been incredible too. Enjoying yourself, I see. Well, there's nothing like, no matter how tasty a restaurant's food may be, nothing can really beat homemade cooking, I guess. Can you blame me? I haven't met anyone who can cook better than you can. She laughs heartedly. So, let's have a long-awaited catch-up. Tell me about how everything has been since you joined that club. I finish eating and put my plate away. Sighing contentedly, I pat my stomach. Well, as you know, it all started when I saw Sayori on the sidewalk. Once I start, it's almost impossible to stop. There's so much to say, so much to describe. Now that we aren't limited by short phone calls, I can finally get into detail about what life has been since September. After describing the first few days, I recall how the festival went. She shakes her head as I recall how those inconsiderate pricks acted. Unbelievable. Some people just absolutely have no respect. No kidding. The worst part was that it caused Natsuki and Monika to have a really bad argument. I quickly go over that, not wanting to dwell too much on the fight. It's still something I'd rather forget. Mom smiles as I recount how my feelings for Sayori started to blossom. Oh, and there was Halloween! We all dressed up, broke into school. We wrote some spooky poems and summoned a Shinto spirit. Among the 5 of us, I think we're the only ones who saw that. You did what now? Just that? Not that. We wrote some spooky poems. You know what I'm referring to? No to bring in the school thing. Of course our mom will be mad. She doesn't look very impressed. Come on, Mom, it was just a bit of harmless fun. Didn't you say you called the spirit over? Okay, maybe not entirely harmless then, but for what it's worth, we all had fun. And it was a really nice bonding experience. She sighs under her breath. Teenagers these days get their enjoyment from the weirdest things. Okay, so maybe playing around with the Ouija board wasn't the wisest idea. But hey, it'll be a good story for my kids, right? If you say so, Midas. We're already claiming that we're gonna have kids in Sayori. That's so adorable. Anyway, so then when November rolled around, rest of the evening rolls around. We've both had a lot to talk about, and time has really flown. She yawns. Well, it definitely sounds like you've had a hectic past few months. Girls, secret Santas, and Shinto ghosts. What a mix. Anyway, I'm still quite tired from my flight, so I'm going to have an early night. I'll be around for a while, so we can always carry on tomorrow. Yeah, sure thing. I've got a lot of homework to be getting on with anyway, so that's fine. Good boy. I love you, Midas. Love you too, Ma. See you tomorrow. After grabbing a drink from the kitchen, I walk over to my bag and pull out the relevant textbooks. Let's get this over with. Just as I'm about to begin, I feel my phone buzz. Oh. Yuri? Okay. Evening, Midas. Do you have any plans for this evening? Yeah. Sorry, Yuri, I have a lot of homework to be getting on with. Oh. What do you have to do? Perhaps I could help you out? I paused with my fingers hovering over the screen. Sayori never said I couldn't hang out with Yuri, and I don't think she's the controlling type. But even though I know I'm not doing anything inherently wrong by spending time with Yuri, I can't help but feel like I'd make Sayori's jealousy worse if I did. But then again, I did say I'd help Yuri out with her loneliness. All of this was before I knew the impact it would have on Sayori. Yeah. Nah, it's okay. There's a lot to do, but I can handle it. Thanks though, smiley face. There's a pause in her reply. It's okay, Midas. Hope you have a pleasant evening. I can't help but feel guilty as I put my phone away. I hope she doesn't think I'm ignoring her. Given her personality, it's definitely possible. Why can't this just be simple and not so complicated? You'd think that for my first relationship, life would be so nice and not throw me into the deep end. Life is never nice, Midas. I mean, it can be at times, but you just have to be ready for times like this. I'm all over as I finish the rest of my homework. I climb into my bed feeling exhausted. The day wasn't a taxing day, at least physically. From a mental perspective, it's a whole other story. I still wish that I could do so much more for Sayori, and the uncertainty on how to deal with Yuri isn't helping. Still, it's nice to know that I'm not alone in the house anymore. It'll probably be worth talking to Mom about the whole situation with Yuri. I'm sorry. The whole situation with Sayori and Yuri. Guessing it's about her jealousy with Yuri. Tomorrow. I probably should have talked to Mom a little more. She's been in the exact same position before. Ah well. Better later than never, right? I wake up the next morning to the sound of activity coming from downstairs. I almost forgot that Mom is an early riser. That's something I definitely didn't inherit from her. I yawn and stretch, checking the time. Huh, 10 a.m. Looks like it isn't so early after all. Morning, Mom. You're up early. Ha! Very funny. I've been up before noon loads of times actually. Looks like you really changed while I've been gone, huh? Rolling my eyes at a little jab, I noticed the abundance of food on the kitchen table. So, it's Valentine's Day. What have you got planned with Sayori? Taking a seat, I opt for the jam toast. I don't know. Monica mentioned this fancy restaurant in town, so I thought I'd take Sayori there. Which one? Amber Beehive, I think it's called? Amber Beehive. She said it's jazzy. Lanes at the affordable side too? Ah, yes, I know it now. Monica has good taste, Sayori will love it. You can't go wrong with jazz. Good. You could do with a nice day after everything that's happened so far. Oh, everything okay? We can talk about it when I get back if that's okay. Kinda wanna focus on the positives today. Of course, today will be a great day, don't you worry, my son. She smiles encouragingly at me. I hope so. Anyway, what are you gonna do for today? Well, it's been such a long time since I've been home that I've almost forgotten what free time feels like. This country and its work ethic. Anyway, I figured I could start with some housekeeping. You've let this place get a little dusty and messy, young man. Sorry, it's never been my strong suit. There's also some business things I have to sort out, but thankfully I can do those on my laptop. Even when you're at home, you can't really catch a break now, can't you? She smiles ruefully. Adult life, Midas. Now, haven't you got a certain someone to see? I'm on it. After freshening up and shooting Sayori a text, I make my way over to her house. Hey, Sayori? She's on the bed, sitting up. There's a pen and paper in her hands, and it looks like she's writing a poem. Hi, Midas. What do you want to do today, then? About that. This must be really disappointing to hear, so I'm sorry. Aww. But why? What is it? I'm not really in the mood to hang out today. It's just some things that I need to think about, and I don't want to be distracted. It's nothing personal. I tried my best to fight off the sinking feeling of disappointment. Nah, it's cool. Worry about it, okay? Just give me a shout if you want to talk, alright? You know where I am. I know it's Valentine's Day today, so it's really selfish of me, but it's fine. Really, not selfish at all. I'd much rather you want to do, or what, sorry. I'd much rather you did what you wanted to do, instead of you feeling like you have to come out or anything. We can always hang out another day. Thank you, Midas. You've been really understanding. It's the least I can do. Anyway, I'll leave you to it. Well, that changes things a bit. God, this music. And the gray skies is not helping either. I'm a little downhearted. I know Sayori loves romance, and today would have been the perfect day to show her how much she means to me. Granted, the decision has been made. At least I can talk it over with Mom. Mom's sitting at the kitchen table, beavering away on her laptop. She looks surprised. You're back early? I slide into the chair opposite of her. Yeah. Sayori doesn't feel like hanging out today. Said there's some stuff she needs to think about, so I left her to it. I bury my face in my hands. My mom speaks, her tone is gentle. It's not easy now, is it? It really isn't. I know you warned me about it and I thought I was prepared, but I never really know what to do. I like to think that I'm making a positive difference, but I don't know anymore. What makes you doubt that? Well, she kinda snapped at me once when I told her I knew how she felt. Said I couldn't possibly know what the present feels like, and that my words are just empty. But she also said that it's helpful having me around, and that me just being able to listen does make a difference. So I really don't know. For what it's worth, darling, you're doing your best, and that's all we can ask for. Take today, for example. You wanted to spend a day with her, right? Take her to a nice restaurant, you were looking forward to it. But even though she wasn't up for it, you didn't get angry at her or hold it against her. You were understanding and let her do what she wanted to do. That's precisely the kind of patience and understanding I was talking about back in November. She said it herself. She values you having you around. And whether you realize it or not, you have made a difference in her life. You have made her life much better. Sorry. Nah, I made it worse in some ways. How so? Oh, I forgot to tell you. You know, you were right. We went Christmas shopping with each other in December and I saw her in the park once after Sayori and I had a fallout rather. We've grown a lot closer. A little closer rather. And Yuri confided that she's really lonely. I've agreed to spend more time with her and totally didn't factor how Sayori would feel about it. Jealousy, are you sure? Yeah. I'm an idiot. How did I not realize that would happen? I was so inconsiderate. Not inconsiderate at all, sweetie. Your heart's always in the right place. You just wanted to help a friend in need. And there's nothing wrong with that. Our mom's so sweet. But now that I'm in this really weird situation, I want to spend time with Yuri because I hate the thought of her being lonely, but I don't want to make Sayori feel any worse. Sayori didn't tell me that I couldn't hang out with Yuri or anything. She's not like that at all. I sigh. And I can't tell Yuri about why I can't hang out with her because I don't want her to find out about Sayori's depression. Girls. Mom laughs softly. She puts a reassuring hand on my shoulder. Well, let's try looking at this from another angle. She agreed to try therapy, right? How's that going? Well, when I was there, it was going well, I guess. Her therapist is really nice, never insensitive in his questioning, and she's working well with him. She's on antidepressants now, and she started going to therapy sessions alone. That's excellent news, sweetie. That's a really big step to make, so the fact she's made it is really promising. From my own experience, that independence is really important. You can't always be there for your partner, and at the end of the day, they're the one who has to learn to deal with their depression. When I was dating we have a name. When I was dating Shinji, we found that his depression was easier to manage after he had attended a few sessions by himself. He said that she has a really good therapist, so have faith, darling. It's a long, slow process, but it sounds like she's made good progress already. Sheesh, ma. You sound like a psychologist yourself. Well, I did take some psychology modules when I was at university, you know. My experience with depression really opened my eyes to mental health. And in that, our dramatic music is gone. Now we can be happy. Funny you mentioned it because I would consider going to psychology at university. Sakurai was asking me about my future plans. Well, if that's what you're interested in and your grades are good enough, I'd encourage you to do Midas. Especially in a country like this one. She has some pretty unhelpful attitudes when it comes to mental health. Yeah, seems like a good choice, right? I've still got time, but I figured it'll be helpful to start thinking about my post-school plans right now. She nods approvingly. Yes, that's definitely a smart thing to do. What about the other girls? After I feel her in, she fits back, looking thoughtful. I can really see where I got my reflective side from. You'll all have to study really hard next year. That exam that you take at the end of high school is so important in determining which university you get into. Yeah, so I've heard. Sakurai mentioned it too. But you're a bright boy, so I know you can do it. Of course. With me raising you, you can hardly go wrong, could you? You share a chuckle. Mom has always been really good at making me feel safe and secure. Thanks, Mom, for everything. I didn't know where I'd be without you, Ma. Nothing to thank me for. I'm your mother. It's my job. Seriously, having you around again has made such a difference. I just wish you could be around more often. Me too, Midas. Me too. I always felt guilty being so far away from home. Especially when you're struggling to deal with Sayori. It's not your fault. Life wasn't exactly going to be easy after the divorce now, was it? You're doing your best. Isn't that exactly what I just told you, no? I see you inherited my positivity. Sayori called me a mama's boy, funnily enough. Well, she isn't wrong now, isn't she? I grin. Nope. Anyway, I was thinking we could go for a walk to town. It's a really nice cafe that one of my work friends recommended. It'll be good to get out of the house, the fresh air will do you good too. Can we swing by that restaurant Monica recommended? I just wanted to see what it's like, you know, just in case I want to take Sayori there another day. Of course we can. White Day is only a month away, so who knows? Perhaps you'll spend the day there. I've forgotten about White Day. You typically get a lot of chocolate, so it's one of my favorite days. Ah, so there you were, berating me for gorging on chocolate when it's you that I got my sweet tooth from. I hope you've been eating healthily while I've been away, young man. Eh? Have you ever heard that phrase? What do you don't know what you don't know would hurt you? I'll take that as a no then. Ignorance is bliss, ma. You should consider yourself lucky that Sayor doesn't expect you to cook her food, Midas. It's funny you mentioned that actually. Natsuki's really into food, so if I dated her instead, man, she'd grill me. No pun intended. She laughed softly, shaking her head.